The world wasn't ready for silence. At 2:37 GMT, cities across 5 continents went dark. Planes grounded, stock exchanges froze mid-trade, and hospital monitors blinked to black. It wasn't war. At least, not the kind fought with bombs. Somewhere deep in the invisible arteries of the internet, a single command had been executed. Governments scrambled to locate the breach, but the only trace left behind was a flickering signature buried in the code. A single word: Spectre. And for one digital investigator named Maya Chen, that name would change everything she thought she knew about justice, power, and control. By sunrise, 42 nations declared a state of emergency. Air traffic grounded, markets halted, communication lines severed. The blackout wasn't random. It was targeted, synchronized to the millisecond. Maya Chen hadn't slept in 20 hours when the first decrypted packet came through. Buried deep within the digital wreckage was a strange encryption key that didn't belong to any known algorithm. That's when she realized whoever did this had rewritten the laws of the internet itself. Interpol's analysts couldn't trace the entry point. Every signal was rerouted, mirrored, or disguised through layers of compromised routers. It wasn't a virus, it was a message. Someone was speaking through chaos, and that someone wanted to be found. When the first decrypted message appeared, everyone in the room froze. It read, "We built a system too fragile to deserve survival." Below it, a digital signature. The same one that had shut down half the planet. Spectre wasn't hiding. He was performing. Outside, the world trembled in confusion. But inside Interpol's cyber lab, Maya felt something else. Admiration. Whoever Spectre was. He wasn't just destroying systems. He was making a point. And deep down, she feared the same thought that crossed Tora's mind. Maybe Spectre was right. The deeper Maya dove, the stranger the network became. The darknet wasn't a place. It was an organism, alive and shifting, where digital ghosts traded secrets like currency. For days, she traced Spectre's signature across hidden marketplaces and encrypted chat rooms. What she found wasn't a lone hacker. It was an entire ideology. Spectre had followers, hundreds of them, calling themselves the Cleaners. They believed the world needed to crash before it could be rebuilt. And every trace Maya followed pulled her closer to their hidden command center, a server that shouldn't exist. To reach them, Maya needed to vanish. Using Torres's encrypted VPN and a burner laptop, she built a fake identity, a hacker for hire known only as Kestrel. Hours passed as she earned their trust, answering questions in digital riddles. Finally, one username messaged her directly. "The Ghost welcomes you." She was in. The Cleaner's private server was like nothing she'd seen, encrypted in layers of quantum-resistant code, masked by hundreds of decoy addresses. It wasn't just a chat room. It was a digital fortress. Inside, users traded raw government data, leaked surveillance footage, and zero-day exploits like collectibles. Then, in one corner thread, Maya found it, a live stream of a man in a hood. His voice distorted, but unmistakable. Spectre was speaking live. Humanity built its own cage. Spectre's voice said through static, "I just turned off the lights." His words echoed in the silence of Maya's flat. Behind the encrypted mask, his tone wasn't angry. It was calm, almost sorrowful. She recorded every frame, tracing packets in real time. But when Torres saw the feed, his face went pale. "That signal's not bouncing," he said. "He's close. Very close." The signal traced to an abandoned data center on the outskirts of Bucharest, once a hub for a defunct telecom giant. Within hours, Maya and Torres were on a plane. As the city lights vanished beneath the clouds, Maya replayed Spectre's voice in her head. Every line felt less like a threat and more like a prophecy. Somewhere in that forgotten building, the man who shut down the world was waiting, or watching. The Bucharest data center smelled of dust and static. Broken monitors blinked weakly under a roof of hanging cables, their glass screens long shattered. It was clear nobody had worked here in years, yet the network was alive, faint packets pulsing through old servers. Maya ran a diagnostic and froze. The system wasn't transmitting. It was recording. Someone had turned the entire facility into a listening post. And the signal signature? A perfect match to Spectre. On one terminal, a single hard drive spun up. Ancient, analog, mechanical. Maya decrypted its contents. Fragments of emails, invoices, chat logs. The sender name repeated across every file. Ivan Varga, a former network engineer once employed by Helios Systems, a multinational defense contractor. Torres recognized the name instantly. Helios, the same company whose satellites had gone offline during the blackout. It wasn't random. Spectre had been one of them. Spectre had once protected the systems he would later destroy. His security framework, EGISNet, was built to defend global data infrastructure. But when Helios sold his creation to governments for mass surveillance, Varga fought back. He tried to expose them, but his access was revoked, his life erased, his research stolen. From that day forward, Ivan Varga became Spectre, a ghost of his own making. In silence, Maya watched the video logs of Varga's dismissal. Security guards escorting him out, while executives whispered behind frosted glass. She paused the footage, studying his eyes one last time. They weren't angry. They were tired. Torres exhaled slowly. "This isn't terrorism," he said. "It's vengeance, with code." But Maya wasn't convinced. What if vengeance wasn't his goal? What if it was redemption? When they left the building, the servers went silent behind them, like a confession finished. In the car, Torres drove without speaking. Maya stared out the window as dawn broke over the Romanian hills, the light slicing through mist like broken glass. Somewhere out there, Spectre was watching, and for the first time she didn't just want to stop him. She wanted to understand him. It began as a whisper on encrypted boards, a single torrent link appearing without a traceable origin. Within minutes, the world's data veins ignited. Classified government archives, military communications, and private surveillance programs poured onto the darknet in real time. Spectre's message followed. Truth isn't stolen. It's revealed. As journalists scrambled and stock markets tumbled, Maya and Torres watched the leak spread like wildfire, unstoppable. By nightfall, half the planet was in panic. Governments denied the leaks. Corporations scrambled to erase traces of their involvement in illegal surveillance. But the truth couldn't be deleted. Every file Spectre released led to another. It was a chain reaction. Unstoppable. Self-propagating code designed to replicate truth itself. Maya traced the seed file and realized the terrifying part. It wasn't hosted anywhere. It was everywhere. Then came the broadcast. Across every hacked television, smartphone, and billboard. Spectre's voice spoke through static. "You built a world on secrets. I'm giving it honesty." His voice echoed through deserted streets and silent living rooms. Some called him a terrorist. Others called him a hero. For the first time, Maya wasn't sure which was true. Torres wanted to shut it down. "He's dismantling order," he warned. But Maya hesitated. Every document Spectre leaked exposed another layer of deceit. Illegal surveillance programs, financial manipulation, war contracts buried under false names. "He's forcing accountability," she said quietly. The line between justice and destruction blurred until it vanished completely. When the dust settled, the world wasn't the same. Markets collapsed, governments resigned, whistleblowers emerged overnight. The line between hacker and hero dissolved in the chaos. Yet, deep in the darknet, Spectre's final upload waited, locked behind a countdown timer ticking toward 0. Maya stared at the screen, her pulse syncing with the clock. Whatever came next would either restore order or erase it forever. Interpol authorized the operation at midnight. The plan was simple. Bait Spectre with a forged data archive containing classified AgesNet source code. Maya's team would track his signal the moment he accessed it, but she knew it wasn't just bait. It was a conversation. The code was personal to him. Every function, every variable name was his creation. Torres warned her. You're not hunting him anymore. You're inviting him. At 2:14, Spectre took the bait. The signal came from inside a network node buried in an anonymous data farm outside Prague. Maya's eyes locked on the trace. The terminal flickered, access detected. Her team cheered, but something was wrong. The latency spike wasn't outbound. It was inbound. Spectre wasn't following the bait. He was already inside. The lights flickered. Systems began rebooting on their own. Firewalls collapsed like paper. Torres shouted for a lockdown, but Spectre had already rewritten the permissions. One by one, the team's monitors filled with his symbol, the ghost mask, pulsing like a heartbeat. Then his voice, calm and distorted. Nice trap, Maya, but you're playing inside mine. For 6 minutes, the world vanished from their screens. No network, no power, no control. Then, slowly, Maya's terminal reignited, not with code, but a video feed. Spectre appeared, hooded as always, face half lit by cascading data. You still think you're chasing me, he said softly. But I've been here all along. His eyes seemed to look through the camera and into her. Then everything stopped. The feed went black. On her screen, a single line appeared. I'll show you the truth they buried. Follow the signal. Coordinates followed. Deep in the Siberian tundra. Torres called for backup, but Maya was already packing her bag. She wasn't chasing a fugitive anymore. She was chasing understanding. The real trap wasn't in the code. It was in her conviction. The coordinates led to nowhere. A frozen landscape stretching infinitely under gray skies. The Siberian tundra swallowed sound and signal alike. Maya's GPS flickered uselessly as her vehicle crawled through ice and silence. Then, faintly in the distance, she saw it. An abandoned communications array, half buried in snow, still pulsing with faint blue light. Inside, the ghost she'd been chasing was waiting. Inside the array, frozen servers hummed faintly, running on autonomous power cells long forgotten. The walls were covered in cables and ice, tangled like roots. And in the center sat Spectre, his hood down, face unmasked for the first time. Ivan Varga. The man who crashed the world. He looked older than his files. Tired, human? You came, he said quietly. I wasn't sure if you'd understand or arrest me. Maya didn't draw her weapon. Instead, she stepped closer. Why? She asked. Spectre smiled faintly. Because truth decays when it's hidden, he said. I didn't crash the world. I rebooted it. He gestured toward the servers. Screens showing real-time feeds of protests, whistleblowers, reforms unfolding across continents. They'll rebuild it better. Or worse. But at least now is theirs. Torres's voice crackled through Maya's earpiece. Backup's 3 minutes out. End it. But she didn't move. Spectre looked at her. No weapon, no threat, just clarity. They'll call me a terrorist, he said softly. They'll call you a hero. But we'll both know the truth. Neither of us won. The faint hum of the servers grew louder, like a heartbeat in the cold. When the strike team arrived, the array was empty. Only the monitors remained, looping one final message. Spectre has been deleted. No trace of his body, no digital footprint. Maya stood in the freezing wind, staring at the blank screens, realizing the truth. He hadn't escaped. He'd erased himself. A perfect ghost. Torres placed a hand on her shoulder. "It's over," he said. But Maya knew. Ghosts never really die. They just move deeper into the machine. Weeks passed. Systems came back online. Cities flickered to life, and the world tried to pretend nothing had happened. But everyone felt it. The invisible fracture in trust, the realization that their secrets were never truly theirs. Interpol called it the largest data restoration in history. Maya called it something else. A reboot of conscience. She'd spent her life defending walls that never should have existed. Now she wasn't sure which side she stood on. Governments issued new cybersecurity laws. Corporations vowed transparency. But under the surface, the same networks reformed. Smaller, smarter, quieter. Spectre's code lived on, embedded in systems across the globe, like digital DNA. Torres retired soon after, citing exhaustion. His final report read only one line. He wasn't wrong, just ahead of his time. Maya returned home to find her personal devices wiped, clean, empty, as if she'd never existed online. Only one file remained, a single text document labeled Spectre. TXT, EXT, inside. A message, truth doesn't vanish when deleted. It replicates. In minds like yours. She read it twice, closed her laptop, and for the first time in years, disconnected from the grid. In time, Spectre became myth. A ghost story whispered through hacker circles and late-night forums. Some said he was alive, hidden behind layers of code. Others believed he became the code itself, an AI birthed from chaos. But Maya knew the truth. Spectre wasn't one man anymore. He was an idea. A permanent question burned into the fabric of the digital age. One night, months later, Maya sat by her window overlooking the quiet city. In the reflection of the glass, her monitor blinked once. A single, silent notification. "Hello, Maya. No sender, no trace, no source." She smiled faintly and whispered, "I thought you were gone." Outside, lightning flashed over the skyline. Somewhere in the endless circuitry of the web, a new connection sparked to life. Spectre wasn't gone. He'd simply evolved.